Hey everybody, welcome to Healing from A to Z with Masterful You and KB. I am of course Chris Burke, and I have taken refuge in my hay barn yet again because it is hot and humid outside in the sun, and in the shadow it's not super great. So we're going to do this. It's one of my favorite places anyway. Let's see. So we're talking about betrayal today. And betrayal is one where, there tends to be this idea of a perpetrator and a victim, and it is true that on a level that is what's happening. Generally one person is betraying the trust, the agreement, the connection to another person. But if we scan out a little bit or span out a little bit, which is really important, we can see this from some different directions, and it's really important because as long as we're seeing it in this sort of binary good person, bad person scenario, we're powerless to change it. We're powerless to move forward. The person who is the perpetrator is expected to go forward carrying their guilt forever, and the person who was the victim is going to move forward feeling like, a victim, like they can't trust people, like bad things happen to them, disappointed. So, and generally kind of, less than. So it's important for us to understand that betrayal is, generally speaking, what happens when we're operating from our unconscious instincts, which we are more often than we would like to admit, probably, or more often than I wanted to admit, certainly in the beginning. And now I understand, our unconscious patterns run most of our lives. We like to think of ourselves as being logical and rational and making good decisions. The reality is, until we really learn how to master all of the levels of our consciousness, we are generally driven by our unconscious instincts, old patterns, usually old wounds and traumas. And as long as that's going on, we're pretty powerless to do anything different. So the betrayals, not only for the person who's perpetrating the betrayal, but also for the person who's the victim of the betrayal, both have a pattern that brought that about, or it wouldn't happen. I know I've been on both sides of this. I've been both the person who betrayed and the person who was betrayed. In all instances, it was very painful. The only lesson to learn out of it was, do I want to continue to operate from in a pain profile? Do I continue to want to interact in relationship with other people from the old pains and traumas of my past? Or do I want to heal those so that we can connect in love and a healthy relationship where we can be honest with one another, where we can trust our own perspective or our own sense of what's happening in the relationship, how connected we are, and also trust the other person when they say something to us, that it's the truth of their experience. So much in relationships today is saying what we think the other person wants to hear, saying what we think will make them like us more. There's a lot of people pleasing. There's a lot of, trying to attract a desirable mate. But is that really what we want in relationship, or do we want a heart connection? One where we really know and love and trust one another. I've had a lot of people tell me that's not possible because in their perspective, they don't know anybody who actually operates from their heart and is committed to being in integrity. They don't know people like that, so they think it doesn't happen, and they say, oh, that's, all about unicorns. But actually, it does happen, and you can have that in your life. All you have to do is decide, I'm going to heal my past traumas, and I'm going to learn to have experiences and relationship that come from a place of love and connection instead of pain and attachment, right, or dependence. If we were not unconditionally accepted and loved as children, which in today's world, I don't know many people who were. If you were, that was unicorn magic, and I love that. I'd love to hear about it. But most of us grew up, with a lot of judgment and a lot of rules, and affection and love were things that would be offered and withdrawn based on our behavior. And so, of course, when we get into romantic relationships, that's the dynamic that we continue to know. And so this is about healing that. We're going to start the exercise now to get that underway. On a scale of 1 to 10, we're going to use the compass. 1, I can't get out of bed. 10, wow, I can see how this betrayal helped me to understand my wounding and heal myself, right? There's a whole spectrum in between. Where are you currently on that scale? When it comes to healing, it's not about who you are. It's about where you are in your healing journey. And that's not, good or bad. It just is what it is. And I like to say, if we want to go from Boston to LA, we have to actually start in Boston. We have to start with the truth. We can't be where we are and say, oh, let's imagine that I'm in Boston and imagine the trip. We actually have to start where we are. So let's figure out where we are. And when you've got that number, you're going to write down what it is that you think, what it is that you feel, what it is that you say or do, what it is that you sense in your body as you scan your body looking for tension, and what it is that you know at this number. Okay, take your time, write that down, pause the video if you need to. Now we're going to write down what betrayal is to us. So what's the universe of betrayal for you? It may be a particular incident with somebody. It may be a pattern of instances. And I recommend writing down at least 3 of them and try to go back as early in childhood as you can. If there's an early childhood betrayal, there's absolutely going to be additional betrayals because we're going to keep acting that out until we can heal it, until we can bring it to our conscious awareness and say, wow, I've got this wound I need to heal. Write those down, and then write down times that you've betrayed other people. It doesn't just have to be in intimate relationships. Any time that you made a commitment and then for whatever reason you weren't able to follow through on that commitment, write those down as well. This is our universe of betrayal. Just draw a circle around that and say, okay, this is what's currently connected to whatever number you're at, your starting place. Then for the fun part, where are you going? You get to decide, what experience do you want to have? I always recommend that you say, a 7 or an 8 or something like that, something that feels achievable. And also not a 10. I mean, eventually, sure, you get to a 7 or 8, you say, hey, I want to go further. But you're going to be surprised at a 7 and an 8, how much better you feel, how different everything looks and feels. It's a different experience. It's like being a different person because you are in a different realm of experience at that point. When you've chosen that number, where you're going, and you've decided, you're going to do the same process we just did, only now you're going to use your imagination, the gift of your imagination, to request from your subconscious mind the experience that you want. When I'm at this higher number of experience, I will think, I will feel, I will say and do, I will sense in my body, and I will know. Take your time, write those things down. This is really important. It's your roadmap for where you're going. And then the last step, and this is really key, is to ask yourself, how do I get from where I am to where I'm going? What are the steps? And the answers will come. The conscious mind sets direction, it makes choices, and it asks questions. The majority of the information is located in our unconscious, which is a combination of our instincts, our intuition, and our inspiration or spirit. Right? So we really need to access those other parts of ourselves in order to get access to information that we don't have that will help us in our conscious self to get where we're going. And remember, as Freud said, the conscious mind is the tip of the iceberg. All the rest of it is the unconscious. But the really cool thing is when your conscious mind sets direction, your unconscious mind will deliver the path to that to the extent that you're healed. So whenever we have a trauma that says, oh, this good thing can't happen to me because I'm carrying this pain, then we need to take the time to heal that. Once it's healed and out of the way, then we can move into that better experience. Okay. For more information and for guidance with your journey, tune in on Fridays when Judy Forder, my colleague and dear friend, and I answer your questions live. We talk about the week's topics. So this week we'll be talking about the letter B and all of the fun discussions that we've had. For more information, go to masterfulyou.com. Please like, share, and subscribe. Spread the word. It's time for people to understand it's not who you are, it's where you are on your healing journey. We are all on a healing journey. Where you are on that journey determines the quality of your experience, how much you love your life. And as we continue to operate on, as we continue to learn how to access the more parts of us, and how to use that information to achieve what it is that we care about, what we value, then inevitably we fall in love with ourselves and with our lives, every aspect of it. Even the pain, because the pain becomes the path to the healing, to the love. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for being you.